ABGs are hard. They're confusing, and I just get a mental block and I get stuck on them. That's what I used to say. Now, look, ABG interpretation is going to be a bulk part of your exam. You're going to get them independently, and you're going to get them on mechanical ventilation, which is a bulky part of your exam. You're going to have to make ventilator changes to correct blood gases. But if you don't understand blood gases, you won't be able to make the correct ventilator changes, and that's going to hurt you in the mechanical ventilation part. Now look, here's a quick mnemonic on how to remember your ABGs, how to interpret them, and how to understand them. Just remember Rome. Rome, like the city in Italy. ROME. Respiratory, opposite. If it's respiratory related, your pH and your CO2 will be in opposite directions. So if your pH is up, CO2 will be down. If your pH is down, your CO2 will be up. Respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis. Now, ME, metabolic, equal. If it's a metabolic disturbance, your pH and your bicarb will be in the same direction. If your pH is up on the alkalotic side, your bicarb will be up on the alkalotic side. If your pH is down on the acidotic side, your bicarb will be down on the acidotic side. This is how you will remember the disturbances and what's causing it. Now let's get into our normal values. Your normal value for your pH is 7.35 to 7.45. On the lower end, it's acidotic. On the higher end, it's alkalotic. Now, normal values for your PaCO2 is 35 to 45. The lower the CO2, the more alkalotic it is. The higher the CO2, the more acidotic it is. Now, your bicarb, normal values are 22 to 26. The higher your bicarb is, the more alkalotic you are. The lower your bicarb is, the more acidotic you are. Metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis. Now, your PO2 does play a role here, not in your pH, but in your oxygenation. So let's just get through the blood gas. You know your normal values for your PO2, 80 to 100. Below 80 is hypoxemic. Above it is normal, but you don't want too much PO2. Now let's talk about pH for a second. What is pH? pH is homeostasis. What's homeostasis? Homeostasis is two independent elements that regulates the body's pH. Think of it like a fish tank. When you have a fish tank, you need to keep a certain pH, a homeostasis, and an environment within certain levels of acidotic and alkalotic in order to maintain life. So if these levels are out of whack, life will not exist. So your blood is the same way. You need to keep your pH within certain levels in order to live. Now you have two independent elements within the body that keep homeostasis. You have your lungs and your kidneys. They both compensate for each other. When one is out of whack, the other will work in order to compensate, partially, fully, and sometimes never. So this is where the lungs and the kidneys come into play. You have a respiratory issue and you have a metabolic issue, and sometimes they also play together. Let's go over some examples here because people do get stumped on compensated, uncompensated, and partially compensated. Okay, so when checking for compensation, you're either going to be uncompensated, partially compensated, or fully compensated. Let's look at this. Uncompensated is pH is abnormal, one system is off, and the other is normal. Partially compensated is when the pH is abnormal, both systems are off in opposite directions. And fully compensated is when the pH is normal, but the PaCO2 and the bicarb are both abnormal, but the body has corrected. So let's do a quick example. You got an ABG here. Your pH is 7.30. Your PaCO2 is 50, and your bicarb is 24. Your pH is low, so that we know that is acidotic. Your PaCO2 is high, so we know that is acidotic. When applying Rome, they're moving in opposite directions. This is respiratory related. So your PaCO2 is high. It matches acidosis, respiratory acidosis. So your answer is respiratory acidosis uncompensated because your bicarb is normal. If your bicarb was moving towards the alkalotic side, which is up, this would be partially compensated if the pH was still abnormal, or fully compensated if the pH was normal. If this video helped you, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll make some more. This is Lee Beats out. Good luck on your boards.